All right, we've got sitting Sparta Gold Star Magistrate Donnie Sullivan with us today. Donnie, thank you for coming out. Appreciate your time.
Oh, glad to be here.
We just continuing on with our series here of having all the magistrates candidates. Wanted to get everybody that has a contested race out before the May 19th primary. So at some point here, we'll air all these together. Yourself and Bob Searcy and C.W. Young. Just really looking to get some good information out to the people, and above all else tonight, we want to give you an opportunity to tell your voters why you're running, what you're running on, what you've done. Just kind of tell about yourself and let everybody hear that. So, again, thank you for coming on. And Zach, Henry, you got anything to get started here?
Well, as the first incumbent that we've talked to, what have you learned? What do you think you know above the others just from your experience at being in office for a while?
Well, we're all in business in this room, and county business is a lot different than regular business, and that was a lot for me to learn. You know, you if you see something not working right in your business, you fix it right away, and it's a process. When it's county money, you can't just a lot of the stuff magistrates deal with is complaints and so forth about roads, and there's county roads, there's state roads.
Probably get a lot of complaints about state roads.
Oh, and you try to answer the questions and tell the people that that's a state road, and you will work with them and try to make a phone call, and sometimes the state will respond, and sometimes it goes on deaf ears. I mean, as far as the roads in our county, our county road department, they do an excellent job, in my opinion, for what we have to work with. And anytime I've had any complaints, I call Brent, and either that day or the next day he'll go check it out, and he'll give me an answer and try to. You can't always tell everybody what they want to hear. That's the bad part. But I always try to be honest, and if I can't help them, I try to tell them, and that's not what always everybody wants to hear, but that's just how it works out.
Yeah. That's something I think you had mentioned, because, of course, Josh, you ran for magistrate at one point in time, and Josh was talking about one of the number one questions he gets is, what does a magistrate do? So that's something I wanted to ask, for everybody that's listening that may not know, what's your 30-second or 1-minute summary of what a magistrate's job is?
Well, first and foremost, we're on the fiscal court. There's 4 magistrates and a judge executive, and we are stewards of the county's taxpayer money. We have a vote on what's spent on this and that to try to better Gallatin County. And on a different note, on the magistrate is we're the voice of, like, Sparta Gold Star. My district is pretty much from city limits to the Carroll County line over toward the Owen County line, kind of like this, and then it gets jagged a few places. But you're a voice for your people. Like, if you have a complaint for anything going on in your area or across the county, you try to listen to them and take it up the ladder, or if you can answer it, you do it. If not, you go to the judge or the road department head, and you just try to get somebody an answer for their issues that they might be having, county related.
Yeah, that's I guess no better time to dive into the hot topics, because in talking of your district, a lot of the hot topics are right there in Sparta Gold Star jurisdiction at the moment. We've got Speedway talks, we've got data center talks, all these hot buzzword topics, they're in your district. So I guess take a pick here. What Henry, you'd want to ask about the airport. What tell us about the airport and what all we have to talk about there with that.
When we had Ryan on before, we had asked about money that the county had spent on the airport, and he I guess said that the majority of it had came from other sources, but I don't think we got to elaborate enough really on money that the county had spent and where that money came from. So do you have an idea how much money the county has actually spent on the airport from county budgets or where that came from?
It's been very minimal. Like we have a fund, like there's so many different pots. I'm sure you kind of understand that a little bit, but there is an airport fund that they gave us money, the state and the feds, different ones, and everything we've spent has come out of that. So as far as actual county money that hasn't been given to us, it's been very minimal. And, now they built a T hangar and they've got it completely rented and we should be getting some money back. Now, the airport, I was kind of neutral. I mean, somebody said an airport in Gallatin County, like, why do we need an airport? I'd rather have better roads and better things for our people because, in my opinion, most of our local people aren't going to use that airport as far as, there's not a lot of people who have private planes and so forth. But I think for the infrastructure now with what could happen out at the racetrack and so forth in that area, it blows my mind. I had no idea there was that many people with interest that's got planes. So is it going to help the average Joe? Probably not, but it's going to be a resource that we can all use, and it should self-sustain itself from the rent and so forth going forward.
Where do you stand on I guess, is it contracting an outside group?
Yeah, the
come
future
run it?
management.
That's been a hot topic. We've tried to vote on that a couple times, and we've tabled it and so forth. And my thing is, they want a 20-year agreement, and a 20-year agreement, in my mind, to somebody you don't know that's never came and talked to the fiscal court in person, I wasn't. And then I guess they've had representatives talk to the airport board at times, and all of those people that you have on the board haven't been all in on a certain contractor, so to speak. So when they've got doubts, that's what gave us doubts, because you ask these people to volunteer and to be on these boards and so forth around the county. There's so many different things. You guys are aware of that. But the money that they might get is nothing. And if you can find somebody to volunteer their time and they have general interest in what we're doing here in the county, you got to respect their opinion, or why have the board? So that's kind of where I've been on that. I mean,
so the airport board basically makes recommendations to the fiscal court?
Yes.
And the fiscal court would approve or deny their
Right.
recommendation?
Who all's on that board?
Paula Lillard, Wayne Rasman, Bill LeGrand. Who else is on there? I think Travis Simpson.
Are those appointed by the judge?
I don't know. I would say that the judge had.
It almost sounds like there were multiple different precincts there that were
Now,
represented.
Yeah.
On most boards that the county has, we try to have representatives from each sector. And like whenever one, like zoning, for example, whenever one of my area guys decides they don't want to do it anymore, I have to try to get a recommendation. It always don't work that way, but that's how they always try to do it since I've been involved.
Just to clarify one thing there, I think I heard this, I wasn't 100% certain. Did the airport board recommend to use the outside management company, and then that came to the fiscal court and it's been tabled? Or did they not recommend that?
They've recommended it, yes, but they were like, their vote was like 3-2.
Okay, so they were.
So there was some
overwhelming.
It wasn't overwhelming, and so that they talked to a few fiscal court members and voiced their opinions. So that's kind of how we tabled it for the time being.
Has there been any middle ground, or was this management firm, are they willing to entertain a 5-year contract, or has that been a non-starter for them?
I don't think that's been addressed to that magnitude. There's lots of ideas there, and the group that they've talked to is out of New York, I believe, and somebody from New York that's not familiar with Gallatin County and where we're at, that was one of the stumbling blocks for me. I mean, you hate to give control to your gem of a airport, because it is, you can land a lot of stuff out there. It's got a nice runway, and the terminal building, y'all probably seen drawings of that, or it's going to be nice. And they say there's a lot of interest. So, but I don't know on the, I was just skeptical as myself to give it away to a group from New York without being able to have a little more correspondence.
So to say you're still open to outside people running it, that's still fair. Just got to be the right match.
Oh, I think that's, you have to have that.
Okay.
Because we don't have anybody. I don't know how to run an airport, and I don't think the judge does. I mean, it's just the fiscal court don't need to take care of it. You need somebody to run it, but you gotta be careful there. If you sign the wrong deal selling your tomatoes, you're stuck selling them for $2 less than you could get,
Especially over 20 years.
Yes.
Was it 20-year deal being discussed?
That's what they want, and that's they're pretty firm on that. And a few of us are pretty firm. That's not a good idea, but we'll just have to see how it goes.
All right. Well, that's interesting. So I guess to kind of summarize, it seems like a good idea to have an outside firm. There's a lot of people not too excited about the 20-year term, and is there a possibility of getting other firms to try to continue this search?
Oh, I think that's ongoing. We're not just set in stone on one particular one, but
Gotcha.
you're kind of, I don't know. It just seems like there hasn't been a surplus of people.
Yeah, I would assume that's a pretty limited field of potential.
It would have never dawned
firms
on
to
me
do
to
it.
go into the airport management field.
If you look at a map, there's tiny little airports all over the country. I mean, there's got to be somebody staying pretty busy doing that.
Well, we talked with CVG some. They had some interest at one point to kind of do some stuff with it, but and all of them are run different. Some of them are run through the county, and some of them have the FBOs. I mean, it's kind of you want to pattern yourself after the ones that are doing the best. Absolutely. But like the fuel cells, we sell fuel a little cheaper, and we're selling quite a bit of fuel now. But we have to go gauge those tanks. We have to test that stuff. We're sending our people out there daily. And
wow.
Have you talked to any other similar airports that are maybe owned by the county to see if they're profitable, or how much they, do they cost the county money, or do they turn a profit?
They have went to a lot of the different airports. I've only went to the Georgetown, I guess, but they went to Bardstown. They've been to They've been to a lot. The airport board has put some extensive time into this to try to guide us in the right direction. So, I'm with the airport board for their time doing it. We just need to get it done. And like our table in the last meeting was for the simple fact that we need an FBO, but at this point, it's drug on this long already. It's not nothing that's had to be done immediately. So why, hang your neck out and go that direction until we get a little bit more going?
Yeah, absolutely.
To kind of circle back there, do we have any examples of one that is profitable for the county that you know of?
I don't know the answer to that right off, to be honest with you.
That would be, who chairs that airport board?
I think it's Paul Lillard.
That'd be a really interesting one to get in here after May 19th. We're kind of hustling at the moment. But
I would imagine that just black and white profitability for a lot of those airports would be hard to measure. I mean, they might lose money, but the economic, take Georgetown, for instance. Toyota's invested a lot of money there, and I bet they really enjoy having that airport there. And there's a lot of other businesses that probably use that airport. Now, we don't want to lose money so they have a nice airport, but if it brings in other businesses, say to the Speedway, which could parlay into the next topic.
That's the thing in terms of profitability. Does it bring a business to that property at the Speedway that creates, some form of tax that generates money for the general fund of our county? But
it's not as much, in my opinion, as about making money. It's just sustaining itself and having that opportunity for businesses here and local people to use without going broke
without
over
going backwards.
Yes.
Yes, financially. But in terms of that, what about the Speedway property? I mean, we talked with the judge quite a bit. It's a really attractive property, makes a lot of sense. There is an airport right there, as we've just discussed. You've got 2 exits from the interstate, the river's nearby. We've got rail running through our county. It seems like an attractive property. What are some things that are being discussed? What direction do you see that going? It seems like
would you
racing
support
is...
a zoning change for the property? Because I know that's been a hot topic with planning and zoning.
Honestly, I think it has to have a zoning change. Now, which direction you go there, because I don't think it's right for people to say when there's businesses right there that all you're going to be able to do there, because it's kind of a messed up zone, race cars or race horses or gamble. I mean, how can they market that to a business without a zone change? So I think a zone change is inevitable. It's going to have to be something. And with the interstate right there, I can't believe and can't imagine it's not one of the most attractive properties in the area for sure.
Yep. Yeah. As in terms of what has driven, because we've had some meetings that us as Gallatin County citizens aren't used to being advertised and highly attended zoning meetings for that property. And we ask this question every time, but to your knowledge, has there been any direct business that has sparked those, or is that just kind of something that needs to happen?
From what I understand, they were never asked. They haven't. The Speedway to this point has never asked for a zone change. The county reached out to them, Jim Hansen, and was working on the comprehensive plan that's supposed to be done. But that's a slow process, and we've had some trouble getting meetings together. But the Speedway, this is my take, they were interested in waiting for the comprehensive plan if it's going to be quick, so they don't have to ask for a zone change. It gets changed automatically. And in order for them to be able to market their property anytime quick, in my opinion, they're going to have to come before the board and ask for a zone change.
Because it's highly unmarketable to
Yeah,
race cars and race horses.
And I don't think that's going to, that's the elephant in the room. We get 400 some thousand from them every year, and we lose that money. I don't know where it's going to come from. I mean, the budget's tighter than I've ever seen it.
That's a topic we discussed, kind of it linked with Ryan, and it seems that if the bonds expire, their tax liability is going to go up drastically. Now, the county might not specifically get that, a large share of that, but there would be a lot more money.
Yeah,
They would be paying a lot more.
The general fund would go down. School taxes.
Yes,
School
like-
Would go up drastically, yeah.
Like all the school and the library, and I mean, you see your tax bill at all. Like everybody, it's a misconception on a lot of people that they think the county gets all your tax money and we just get a portion. I mean,
a relatively small portion goes to the general fund, actually.
yes,
Yeah.
you're correct.
Yeah. So and that's an interesting topic that we brought up in the show with Ryan, with the judge is, would there be a possibility of kind of restructuring that distribution? If they did end up getting a tax increase as the entity that owns the Speedway, so there's technically more dollars coming into our county, would it be a possibility? And that he said he might check on the legalities of that.
Yeah, I don't
believe,
know. I mean, that might be a possibility, but I don't. We're mandated. The county is, and that's set by somebody other than us.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be a lot better. I mean, it would be a lot better. I mean, the school gets a big portion, and we're fortunate. We got a nice campus up here. It's a lot nicer when I was in school and when y'all was in school, but still a lot of money goes there.
Yep, absolutely. Well, what I've got one that I want to ask about. I think there was kind of again staying in your precinct here, but there's recently some meetings talking about dredging Craig's Creek. Is there any path forward with that? Because we talk about all these dollars in the county. How can we make money? lot of times I think about tourism. You know, we have the river right here. There's a casino. A lot of reasons why tourism could be good for our county, and then there's that Craig's Creek that's filling in every year. So did that go anywhere? Do you know anything about that?
They got a lot of things they've talked about, but as far as county dollars to be able to help dredge that, I don't see where that's going to come from unless we figure out a way to get some grants. And I know that some of the people that live back in there have talked to different ones, but I don't think we're getting much traction right now, to be honest with you.
I couldn't imagine there ever. I mean, that wouldn't be good county money spent. I
No,
wouldn't think.
I mean, I'd like to have it. I live down there. I'd like to have it.
Yeah.
But better. I mean, it's sad. Some of our nicest homes in the county are around Craig's Creek back there, and it's silting in, and it's that's going to hurt their values and lose tax dollars basically for the county in time.
That's what I just didn't know if there were any grant prospects out there that had been discussed or found.
I haven't heard anything on any conclusion.
Is that mainly being taken on by a group in Scenic View?
There's a
People who are
group in
directly
Scenic
affected
View
there?
and then a group in Hill. There's a couple different things going, and some people got beliefs that with the new no wake law they put into place a couple of years ago has multiplied the problem because there's not as much.
I've heard for quite a while that a lot of people said that they thought the construction of the speedway contributed to that silting in. Have you ever heard that before? Or is there any real studies or anything that made people believe that, or is that just hearsay?
I've heard a lot about that. The city of Sparta has had that issue with the speedway as well, about the runoff and so forth. I don't know details, but I do think that has had some water issues.
There's certainly a lot of dirt moved uphill from that area.
Yeah, I guess that was the thinking behind it, which, would make you question if a new company comes in there and they're moving a lot of dirt, is it going to fill it in the rest of the way?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Now,
exactly.
Now, one thing that on the water is anytime that they question it, it goes to the state and the feds and all that, and they send their people out and test this or test that, and they tell us, oh, it's fine. But we live here, and we see things that's changed on the water since that happened. So, I mean, I don't know if it's getting squashed above our head, but a lot of things tend to happen that way, I believe.
Interesting. Well, I want to be careful and not press you too much because we're having, these leading up to the May primary, so I don't want to put you at a disadvantage by any means. But while you're here and you are the current magistrate, I would kind of like to ask you a little bit about, you mentioned there a second ago the budget's as tight as you've seen. Tell us a little bit about that. Do you expect to get a balanced budget? What's making it tight? Just kind of tell us a little bit about that process.
Oh, it's tight, and we have a balanced budget, and like there's lots of things that go into that. Like the sheriff and the jail bill is, astronomical. It's $60,000 to $70,000 to $80,000 a month, and you can't ask the sheriff to not do his job, but that's a big expense. That is doubled since I've been in office, and the price of doing business on anything has gotten a lot worse, and we're not bringing no more in. And one thing that we have done is, our county workers don't make enough money, period. But we've been able to give all of them, the road department, the EMS, we've been able to give them a better wage to be more competitive with surrounding counties, because in the past, the sheriff would train a deputy and we'd put him through Richmond and all that, and he'd stay here a little bit long enough to fulfill his commitment, and he'd roll on up the road and make more money. But we're starting to be able to retain our people, and that's cost us more money. And but in my opinion, if we have to pay our people, you know yourself, if you got a good hand, you got to pay him,
Yeah.
and you want him to you want him to enjoy where he's at, and you want him to feel appreciated. And I think for the most part, most of our people do.
So when you say that we're not bringing any more money in, you mean the county revenue? I mean, for example, is it the same now as it was 4 years ago, 8 years ago?
Very little changed.
I mean, I don't know. When I think about that, I think about like the price of housing. You know, for me, you know, that's what comes to mind because that's the business I'm in. But 10 years ago, houses were probably selling for at least 50% less probably than they are now, if not more in a lot of cases. And when a new home sells, or, you know, when a home sells that was, say, you know, assessed at $80,000 or $100,000, and it sells for $220,000 now, which has happened in a lot of cases, that effectively doubles the tax revenue from that home too.
Oh, I agree that on that part, we have been able to retain more money from real estate, but
I guess
like,
that goes back to that equation where most of that's going.
Another example, I mean, would be, you know, we were talking about the LGEA fund with the mineral tax, and Ryan said that that's doubled in the last 7 years. And I would have to imagine any, you know, wage increases at the factory, you know, at Nucor or anything, that should also increase occupational tax. When I think of taxes, I think of them as a percentage. And if costs are going up with inflation or whatever the reason might be, then seemingly tax revenue should be going up also.
you're right. But the amount of money to continue to do business has went up at a higher pace.
The county expenses have gone up faster than the revenue's gone up.
Yes. I mean, because usually since I've been in there, we've always had a cushion in the budget. You know, there's always been money extra. You know, it's balanced, but there's still extra. So if you run across a, major thing you got to spend money on, it's there. This year, it's not there. I mean, there's no cush.
No wiggle.
No.
So what is the debate? If the budget is balanced, why is it not just moving on through and passing? Why is there discussions? What are the topics that are still being discussed?
Well, we had a couple employees wanted to, like, the only time you can give an elected official a raise is in the 2 or 3, like in the first of May in the election cycle. So, and that's during the budget time. So when we had to talk about the people wanting the raises at that same time, it just kind of didn't clutter it up. It just took more time. And we chose to give everybody, like we've been fortunate to be able to give our non-elected officials the CPI every year. And it's not a drastic amount of money, but we've been able to do that. And we did vote to give all the elected officials that CPI that don't already get it, except for the magistrates. We chose to not add ourselves a raise, but we gave it to the coroner and the county attorney and the constables.
Just to define that for everybody listening who has no clue, what is the CPI?
It's like cost of living.
It's just like
it keeps up
2% or something.
Yeah, it's
probably.
2 point.
Yeah.
They change as the state tells you what it is. Yeah. And like, for example, the judge and the county clerk and the PBA, and the sheriff, it's mandated through the state that they get it automatically. So that's nothing that the county is in control of. So they get their raise every year, and the magistrates don't ever get a raise.
So when you were talking about some officials requesting pay raises, you're referring to the county attorney and the coroner, I'm assuming?
Yes, sir.
Where do you stand on that?
I would like to give everybody a raise, but with the budget the way it is, I don't see how we could have done any more than we did.
What were they requesting? They were requesting a pretty drastic increase, if I'm correct.
Both of them were wanting upwards of $50,000.
Increase?
No, right now the county attorney and the coroner and all the magistrates make the same money. It's $14,000 some dollars.
But now, best I understand, there's a lot more to that because the county attorney gets several funds that aren't specifically from that pot of money.
Yeah,
correct?
that's just the county's contribution to his salary.
Yes.
His total salary, though, from being elected is probably the highest in the county.
It is. Last year, I'm fairly close. He got over 100,000 from the state, and then ours was 14,000. And the coroner, he don't have that option to have extra money. He's like we are, but
However, there is, I don't know the proper terminology, but there's additional monies that he runs his office. He has deputy coroners
and things, yeah.
and that funding comes from the general budget. Is that correct?
yes, the coroner, his deputies, he's not responsible for their payment. The county pays that.
Yeah.
That doesn't come out of his pocket.
Yeah.
And then that's.
So that was what I took, and I think we touched on this with Ryan, if I recall. Somehow or another we got into that, but to me it was, there was quite a bit more money that the general fund was allocating to the coroner that could potentially, here's all this money you can do, you can get the job done however you see fit, but
Correct.
I don't necessarily know if government works that way or not.
Right. Our coroner has 3 deputies, and you could run it with less if you wanted to be, but there's nothing wrong with having 3 deputies by any means, but that gives him more freedom, and all of them more freedom, in my opinion. I'm not a coroner, and what they do is admirable. I wouldn't want to have to do their job, and because they get to, they have to cost, you know what they do. It's just it's
You
not
get to see everybody at their worst.
it's not
their worst
glorious by any
moments.
means, and I wish we could be able to do more. We gave him the CPI as well as we did Mr. Axton for the county attorney, and that's not much money. Let's be real. But at this point, I didn't know where we was going to get more money.
Okay. And
You were choosing between additional taxes or keeping pay relatively close.
Well, like we had a talk last year during the budget time, and we talked about it again this year about increasing occupational tax. Like the city did that a year or 2 ago, and the county has not increased. We've stayed the same. We haven't increased taxes one bit since we've been in there. And myself and the other magistrates discussed it. We're not necessarily opposed to a tax. I'm not speaking for everybody either. But if we're going to have, I'm not in favor of putting a tax on just because our budget's tight. If we come up with a set plan of where we're going to spend this extra money and can show our people it's worthy. But just because things are a little tough, you reach over here to get more money from somebody. I don't like that's good
is there no
business.
fat to trim anywhere in the budget?
There's always fat. I don't know
It's the
about
government.
yeah, I don't know about fat, but there's always stuff you can cut out.
That's kind of the hard job where a lot of citizens don't want to lose anything, and me the same. I haven't looked at the budget. I don't know what there might be that maybe we could do this and give them a raise, or maybe we need to raise taxes and keep it all. Or nothing come to mind that's teetering.
You could cut 1,000 here and 1,000. You could do that, but at the end of the day, I don't think there was enough there to make a difference, in my opinion.
Yeah.
When you say the cost of business has gone up so much, what do you think the main driving factors are? Because, when you talk about the people the government's serving, we looked it up the other day, and it's not like the population has drastically increased. We're still, it's still serving basically the same number of people that it has been for years. And, we were talking about the jail fund. Are there more people committing crimes? What do you think the main driving factor is, and why the budget's running short to service the same number of people?
I don't want to answer Donnie's question, but salaries. What you have to pay people to get a job done is just going through the roof everywhere. I think
you can go to McDonald's and make. When I was a kid, and that was minimum wage, and now I don't know what minimum wage is now, but they pay them $15, $16 an hour to flip a burger,
which should increase the county's revenue because the wages go up.
It's the tax argument there always is that if you tax more, you got to pay more, and the goods cost more, and you really never got it raised. So in this scenario, expenses have gone up, revenues have gone up, and so have expenses in every level. they've just grown together. Maybe expenses have grown a little faster than revenue.
Oh, and just the real world. Fuel drives everything. The price of fuel is astronomical now. Price of food. Y'all know what cows are selling for. It's.
Yeah.
I'm not a farmer, but I've never heard. What they're bringing now. It's just,
Yeah.
and that's just a trickle down effect on everything. And the cost of the materials to build a house is probably double.
All of these things are why, for me personally, it would be nearly impossible for me to vote for a tax increase, because the people most affected by those things are the people that would have to pay the higher tax.
No, you're exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's no different than your personal budgeting at home. There's a lot of people that are making a lot more than they were 4 years ago, 5 years ago, pre-COVID. But expenses have gone up so much that they're actually living worse off.
Yeah, their purchasing
They're,
power
they're,
is
they're
lower.
looking back 5-10 years ago and saying, what am I doing different than I was 10 years ago? And it's nothing. It's just every expense that they do is going up.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, what else, Donnie? We're running into our timeline here, but want to give you a chance to kind of sum any of this up, or give you a minute to talk to your voters here. What else would you have to say to the people leading up to May 19th?
My name's Donnie Sullivan. I'm a lifelong resident. I'm not a politician. I ran as magistrate 8 years ago because I'm going to live here till I don't live anymore. And I just wanted to have a voice and try to make it better for my kids, my grandkids, my neighbors. And that's the reason I'm the magistrate. If anybody's got a question, they can call me anytime. I'm probably not going to tell you what you want to hear all the time, but I'm going to try to be real and help you any way that I can. That's what I'm here for.
That sounds good. Guys, any other parting questions?
It is my district. I think we covered most all of it. There's a lot going on in our district, but we touched on most of it.
Honestly, my district has been a nightmare from the very beginning. I had the road closure down here.
That was a state road.
Oh, no, it was a state road. But all my people on Knox Lillard, it was challenging.
Yeah.
And, I'm not kidding you. I live right down here, and I would catch I know I caught 25 to 30 at least semis, because you see them go down, and most of the time when they turn on Knox, they get spooked, and they would stop right there by the launching ramp, and I could catch them and turn them around in the launching ramp. Yeah. So that's a bit, there were still hundreds that went out through there, and it inconvenienced a lot of people, and it was rough at the time, and I'm sorry for them people, but we sure got a nice deal now. It's maybe the other end of the county could get right someday, but that was really bad before they fixed it.
I'll have to say, I don't think anybody hated that year and a half or 2 years more than it was horrible. It was horrible, but I think that road is substantially better. With the gravel on each side, it's much easier to travel Knox Lillard now than it was before that construction. Yeah. So I do like the way that turned out.
Yeah, I told all the people out there that would call it, I'm sorry, but in the end, when it's all done, Knox Lillard's going to be one of the nicest county roads in the state.
Yep.
Because we made it a little bit wider, and then we shouldered the whole thing. It got a lot of love because it had to have love to survive.
Yep, that's right. Well, guys,
I think that's about it. Donnie, thank you for coming on.
Glad to be here.
Yep, thank you a bunch, and good luck May 19th.
Everybody get out and vote. If you can't vote for me, just get out and do your civic duties and make it happen.
All right, thank you.
Yep, thank you.